by the coronavirus known as SARS-CoV-2. So if you see these two names or hear on the news, basically they mean the same. COVID-19 has emerged in December 2019 from China. And after that, it has spread to worldwide, hence we call it pandemic. The first infection were linked to a live animal market in Wuhan City, China. However, we don't know exactly what the source of this current outbreak is.
So coronavirus أو COVID-19 أو المتلازمة التنفسية الحادة COVID-2 فممكن الاسمين تلاقيهم على الموضوع بدأ من الصين في ديسمبر 2019 وانتشر العالم الكله عشان كده بنسميه وباء ولقوا أول حالات اكتشفوها في سوق pretty much في حيوانات برية والناس بتتغذى على الحيوانات البرية دي بس احنا برضو مش متأكدين بالظبط ايه السورس أو ايه المصدر بالتحديد للانتشار بتاع الكورونا فيروس الأيام دي. Okay.
I will move on discussing about what the symptoms of this infection is. The most common symptoms reported or seen in patients are fever, usually above 99.5 degree Fahrenheit, and cough. The cough is usually a dry cough, and shortness of breath. There are less common symptoms reported that could include feeling fatigued, having a muscle ache, and some GI symptom like diarrhea.
Okay. So معظم الأعراض أو الأعراض الأساسية لمرض الكورونا فيروس الحرارة والحرارة دايما أكتر من 99.5 فahrenheit كاف أو كحة بس الكحة بتبقى ناشفة وضيق في التنفس في برضو لقوا إن في حالات ممكن يكون عندها أعراض على خفيف خالص وغالبا بتبقى في الأول تعب أو تعب شديد وجع في العضلات وممكن برضو الجهاز الهضمي بيكون باين بأعراض زي الإسهال أو وجع في البطن. Okay, Dr. Shifa.
Okay. And these symptoms could range from a very mild to a severe respiratory illness, and it's believed to be about 80% of the people would have mild symptom, and the risk could progress to develop a severe illness that might require hospitalization. And these symptoms believed to appear between 2 to 14 days after exposed to the virus.
الأعراض ممكن تتراوح من حاجة بسيطة جدا زي ما احنا قلنا يعني مرض تنفسي حاد يستدعي إن حد يروح المستشفى. أعراض بتبتدي تظهر بعد ما بنتعرض لحد عنده الكورونا للرذاذ بتاعه من يوم ل 14 يوم لغاية ما الأعراض بس 80% من الأشخاص اللي بيتصابوا بالكورونا 80% بيكون عندهم أعراض بسيطة. Okay.
Okay, next I'll discuss how this illness or virus is transmitted. It's very important to understand this concept. So there's two main methods of virus transmission. The first one is through close contact. Close contact within 6 feet with a person who is currently sick with the virus. The other method is being exposed to the respiratory droplet, which are usually produced when a sick person coughs or sneezes. They will be in the air, and if we're next to that, we might inhale the droplet and it could go to our lungs. These are the main two methods of transmission.
So إزاي بيتنقل الفيروس ده لما تكون قريب من حد و6 قدم يعني 1.80 سنتي يعني خلال كده 2 متر من شخص مصاب بالكورونا فيروس ولما يحصل رذاذ مثلا الشخص ده يكح أو يعطس، فالرذاذ ده ممكن يفضل في الهواء شوية، واحنا بعد كده بنتنفسه أو بنلبس بقنا بنلبس مناخيرنا، فبالتالي بيتنقل لنا العدوى. Okay.
It may be possible that a person can get the virus by touching the surface or the object where the virus was, and after that by touching their face, their nose, or even their eyes. But this method is believed to be not the main method of transmission, but that could happen.
So دكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني ممكن الفيروس لما نيجي نلمس مسطحات وبعد كده نلمس نفسينا أو أي حاجة ممكن يتنقل لنا، بس مش دي الطريقة الأساسية للعدوى. أكتر حاجة اللي هي قالت عليهم تكون قريب من شخص عنده العدوى أو تتعرض لرذاذ من بق الشخص أو من مناخيره. أوكي دكتور شيفرا.
Okay. Next, I wanted just to discuss about who are those people who would get the severe illness and what is their risk factor. As I said, about 20% of people could develop a severe illness that would require hospitalization. And these people are usually older people above 60-year-old, people who live in nursing home or in long-term facility, and people with underlying disease. These are mainly lung disease, heart disease, and diabetes disease. And also severe illness has been reported in people who have obesity. And lastly, people who are immunosuppressed people, like on chemotherapy or taking immunosuppression medication.
So مين أكتر ناس عرضة إن هو يعني يحصل لهم المرض بشدة أو بيكون حاد عندهم، واحنا عارفين ان هم 80% من الاشخاص هيجي لهم الموضوع بسيط جدا، بس النسبة الباقية خصوصا لو هم في الفئة دي ممكن حالتهم تبقى أصعب. الناس اللي هو سنهم أكتر من 60 سنة، الناس اللي عايشة في دار مسنين أو مجموعات للناس الكبيرة، الناس اللي عندها مشاكل في الرئة أو بتدخن، الناس اللي عندها مشاكل في القلب، مرض السمنة، السكر، الناس اللي عندهم السكر أو الدايبيتس، والناس اللي مناعتها قليلة whether بياخدوا أدوية كيماوية أو بياخدوا أدوية تقلل المناعة لو عندهم أمراض مناعية. Okay, Dr.
Okay. So the next question, which is also the most common question I get from a lot of people, who should get tested, or when do I know I get tested? I have to be tested. So the answer to that would be not everyone needs to be tested for this virus. Testing is decided by your doctor, or if you don't have a doctor, probably by the healthcare, by the state health department. And to be tested, you will need to have symptoms that is suggestive of the virus infection. And not only that, if you have, in addition to having symptoms, if you have traveled to somewhere, it's very common area where the infection is very common area, and if you have come in contact with a person who has infection, these are the scenarios that is considered for you to be tested. And usually what would happen is that when you have the symptom, you have to call your doctor. If you don't have a doctor, then you have to call the state health department for guidance, how or when to get tested.
So Dr. Shufra, just to clarify, you said that if you are exposed to known contact, then you will be qualified for testing, right?
In addition to having
symptoms. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Dr. Shifra بتقول يعني مش كل الناس محتاجة إن هي تحلل الكوفيد، وطريقة التحليل اللي هو بياخدوا عينة من بيدخلوها كده يعني إيه nasopharyngeal يعني أو oropharyngeal، يعني بيدخلوها خالص ورا المناخير تحت شوية، فالموضوع بيبقى مؤلم شوية، بس مش كل الناس محتاجة تعمل أو يعني تعمل عينة. لازم يكون عندك الأعراض اللي احنا قلنا عليها، ولو تعرضت لحد جاله الكورونا فيروس برضو. وغير كده انت لو حسيت ان في حاجه مش مظبوطه عندك الاعراض اللي احنا قلنا عليها دي، كلم الدكتور بتاعك. لو ما عندكش الدكتور بتاعك في هوت لاينز، او حتى ال ال اي هيئه صحيه في التاون بتاعتك او حاجه تبع الستيت، برضو اي حد ليه باك جراوند طبي ممكن تساله لو انت محتاج تبي تيستد او انت محتاج حد ياخد لك عينه ولا لا. اوكي دكتور شيفرا.
Yeah, regarding testing, even to get more information, there's a line to call 211. That will be very important information if they have questions, whether they're not sure to be tested or have to be tested. And if they don't have doctors, I think that number would give them a very good guidance or instruction how to proceed.
هو في رقم كده 211 ممكن تكلموه لو عندكم أي استفسارات، لو انتوا يعني في لازمة إن انتوا تحللوا أو لأ، فممكن يساعدوكوا. Okay.
Okay. So I'll move on to treatment. Unfortunately, we don't have treatment specifically approved for this virus. The primary approach is symptomatic and supportive. That means if they need fever treatment, we'll give them medication for fever. If they need oxygen, they would be given oxygen. There are investigational medication that have been used for severe patients, a severely ill patient, but we're still in a process that we need more information to know or to confirm these medications are working. But mainly the main treatment is supportive and symptomatic. And also we don't have a vaccine yet for this disease.
بالنسبة للعلاج بتاع الفيروس ده مفيش حاجة متوفرة. في حاجات بتسمعوا عليها بس مفيش دراسات بينت قوي إن هي يعني دراسات whether الدراسات ليها كفاءة عالية إن هي تثبت فعلا إن هو بيعالج الفيروس ده. فلو حد عنده حرارة بياخد أدوية حرارة، لو حد محتاج أكسجين بنوفر له أكسجين، بس مش أكتر من كده. ومفيش يعني لسه مفيش فاكسين أو مصل للفيروس. Okay, Dr. Shifa.
Okay, I'll move on discussing about preventing the infection. This is also a very important point. The best way to prevent illness is basically to avoid being exposed to the virus. If we can stay at home, if we can stay safe, that would be one way to confirm we're not exposed to the virus. But what we can do from our side is clean our hands frequently. We can clean our hands with soap and water at least for 20 seconds. I'll advise you to look the CDC website. They have a video which they uploaded, different versions, and you can see and learn how to wash your hand with soap and water for 20 seconds. And if you don't have the soap and water accessible frequently, you can use hand sanitizers, which usually contain 60% alcohol or above. They're believed to have an effect on the virus. And if possible, at all times, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, especially if you haven't washed your hand. And lastly, avoiding contact with people who are sick, who are not feeling well, would be also a good way of preventing yourself from exposed to the virus.
دكتور شيفرا بتقول يا طبعا ما فيش علاج، بس أحسن حاجة اللي احنا نقي أو وسائل الوقاية. فأحسن حاجة إن الواحد يقعد في البيت لو أمكن عشان ما يتعرضش لأي حد مصاب. تاني حاجة تغسل إيديك دايما باستمرار. في فيديو كويس على ويب سايت CDC أو الهيئة العالمية للأمراض المعدية بيوريكوا إزاي تغسلوا إيديكوا بالمية والصابون على الأقل 20 ثانية. لو ما عندكمش أو انت بره، لو معاك بيوريل لو لقيته اصلا في السوق او اللي عندكم، بس لازم يحتوي على الاقل 60% كحول. لو ايديكم مش نظيفه بلاش تلمسوا عينيكم مناخيركم او بقكم. واخر حاجه طبعا لو في حد عيان يا ريت نتجنب الاشخاص اللي تعبانه دلوقتي. اوكي دكتور شيفرا.
Okay. Then I will discuss about what information we have in terms of how many are ill, how many are died. This is the slide I made yesterday, about 24 hours ago, and clearly the numbers are increasing. I will just focus on the USA and Connecticut data. So at this point in USA, we have more than 85,000 cases. We have become the number one in the nation and in the world to have the largest number of total cases with coronavirus. And the days the number has increased from yesterday, which was around 930, now is around 1,200. And when it comes to Connecticut, at this point, the cases are more than 1,000 compared to yesterday, which was 875. One thing I want to tell here is about 13% of people are being hospitalized currently in Connecticut. Out of the total population, about 13 are in the hospital. And we have 21 deaths today, and 19 were reported to be above 70-year-old. And I'm sad to tell you that we had 1 day in our hospital today.
اوكي هو يعني دكتور شيفرا بتقول لنا على احصائيات وطبعا الموضوع بيتغير من يوم للتاني. فهو يعني على مستوى العالم في اكتر من 500,000 حالة وحوالي 23,000 حالات وفاة. في أمريكا وصلنا لحوالي 85,000 حالة، وتعتبر أمريكا من أكتر الكونتريز أو البلاد اللي فيها حالات أكتر. عدينا حتى إيطاليا أو البلاد التانية. حالات الوفاة برضو أكتر من 900، بس احنا برضو عدينا الرقم ده. كونتيكت لوحديها من النهارده، يعني من امبارح للنهارده، امبارح كانت 875، النهارده 1016. 13% من الناس بيحتاجوا مستشفى، ودكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني دايما بيبقوا أكتر من 70 سنة ما يشاف الحالة النهارده في المستشفى. ويعني مكتوب تحتيها 19، بس أجان الموضوع ده كان بيتغير فعلا من يوم ليوم. اوكي دكتور شيفرا.
Okay. Then lastly, I just wanted to give you a take-home message. I, as a person who are seeing this patient who are infected with coronavirus, I have noticed that people could really get sick from this illness, and they will be hospitalized. They could get sick really, and there's a possibility to die also. So what information I want to give is you have to stay at home if possible at all times, especially at this time. And that's the only way you could assure you can stay safe because you're trying to avoid being exposed to the virus. Then have the habit of cleaning your hand often. If you can't clean with soaps and water, then use any alcohol, which has about 60% alcohol. Any sanitizer, which has about 60% alcohol. And the other one is avoid all non-essential travel, not only out of United States, but also even out of Connecticut, because we're seeing a lot of cluster cases in New York City, and we're seeing people who travel to New York just for a day trip getting sick. And so I would advise you to avoid this travel even to the nearest city. And lastly, if you don't feel well, if you have the symptom that we've discussed earlier, I strongly advise you to call your doctor first before going to the emergency room. If you don't have doctors, as I said, you can call the State Health Department for guidance.
So دكتور شيفرا آخر حاجة بتقول يعني الموضوع خطير، يعني هي خاصية أمراض معدية، وبنشوف حالات كتير في مستشفى، والحالات للأسف بتتدهور بسرعة، وبعد الشر يعني في منهم بيتوفوا. فأحسن حاجة اللي احنا نحمي نفسينا، اللي احنا ما نتعرضش للفيروس ده، فنقعد في البيت، نغسل ايدينا باستمرار مية وصابون، أو الهاند سانيتايزر البيرال، حاجة فيها على الأقل 60% كحول. بلاش نسافر بره كونيتيكت دلوقتي، خلينا نقعد في البيت. حتى نيويورك فيها حالات كتير جدا، يعني فكرة احنا نطلع نسافر نيويورك ونرجع تاني ملهاش أي لازمة، يستحسن نقعد في البيت للحماية. وطبعا لو في أي أعراض من اللي احنا قلناها أو حاسين انتوا في حاجة مش مظبوطين، كلموا الدكتور قبل ما تروحوا الطوارئ، أو زي ما قلنا في 211 كرقم ممكن تكلموه لو يعني رقم استعلامات. Okay.
Okay, I will finish my discussion now, and I'm happy to answer any questions or any clarification that need to be done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shifrao. I would like to thank you for this wonderful session and information. And just wondering if we can start the receiving questions from people right now. And you can text me, and I would ask the doctor, and will give you the answer. Can we start right now?
Yes, I'm ready for the questions.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here. It's about a lady who had a contact with a positive case of coronavirus, and after coming back home, now for about maybe 1 week, she has a low-grade fever. Started with a low-grade fever, then now the fever is up to about 103. She's taking Tylenol. It helps, then it comes back. She's feeling general aches. She's very tired, and she has some cough, and she doesn't know exactly what should be done. She called the hotline, and actually they told her she can come maybe in 2 days for a test, and she doesn't know exactly what should be done right now. So if you can help with this, this would be appreciated. Thank you.
It's a very good question, and I'm sure people in her situation would share that concern also. So as I said before, most of the symptoms are believed to be mild one. That means they could have fever, maybe mild just symptom, or feeling fatigue as this patient is feeling, but they might not have severe symptom. So there is no really specific treatment. So basically, we will advise them to stay at home, take Tylenol, hydrate themselves, and watch for worsening symptom. So if she develops worsening symptom, that means shortness of breath, then she had to call her doctor or someone who she called before, because at that time, probably she needs to be evaluated. But as I said, most people have mild symptoms. We advise them to stay in their home to be safe, because hospital is at this point is also at its maximum capacity, trying to treat these patients. And if she can stay at home, hydrate herself, take Tylenol, and we believe she would be okay. But I would advise her, again, if she develops shortness of breath, then that would be the reason she needs to call or come to be evaluated.
Can she go to the hospital directly to the ER by herself right now?
What is recommended at this point is she needs to call her doctor if she has a doctor, or the emergency room before coming. What we don't want to happen is that we don't want them to be unnecessarily exposed. As I said, the hospital is at the maximum capacity, I could say, at least for our hospital or for a lot of hospitals in Connecticut. We want people to communicate with us, with the emergency room, or even with their doctors before they come to the hospital. But she have to monitor her symptoms. Fever is very common. She had to get Tylenol. But if she develops severe symptoms like shortness of breath, if she can't breathe or that kind of feeling, then she have to call her doctor or the emergency room. But we don't advise them just to rush to the emergency room. As I said, there are a lot of sick people also there. And for milder symptoms, it is advised that they stay home and take care of themselves.
هنا تحب أترجم ولا أوكي. في حد سأل إن واحدة سألت إن هي تعبانة، كان عندها حرارة خفيفة في الأول وبعد كده ابتدت تزيد بقت عالية، ووجع في جسمها ووجع في العضلات جامد، كلمت المكتب قالوا لها تعالي بعد يومين، فهي بتسأل تعمل إيه. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول زي ما احنا قلنا الأعراض بتبقى حرارة ووجع في العضلات، ممكن يكون في إسهال، بس معظم الأعراض بتبقى خفيفة، فيستحسن تقعد في البيت تاخد تايلانول، تشرب مية كويس. بس لو ابتدت إن هي حاسة إن هي بتتدهور، زي مثلا نفسها ابتدى يضيق، أحسن حاجة قبل ما تروح الطوارئ أو تروح المستشفى، لأن المستشفى مش أحسن مكان، برضه في ناس كتير عندها الكورونا فيروس هناك، وفي نفس الوقت برضه المستشفيات ابتدت تتكدس شوية، ففي حالات كتير، فعايزين ندي أولويات للحالات. فأحسن حاجة إما تكلم الدكتور أو أخصائي أمراض معدية لدكتور شيفرا، أو الرقم اللي هو 211 قبل، حتى لو حاسة إن هي مش بتتحسن إن هي تكلمهم على طول. والدكاترة على فكرة دلوقتي يعني ممكن زيارة الدكتور مش لازم يعني وش الوش، ممكن تكون عن طريقة التليفون. ففي طرق تانية غير إن هي تروح على طول على الطوارئ أو تروح تشوف الدكتور على طول، ممكن طريقة تليفون يبقى أحسن قبل اتخاذ أي إجراء. Okay.
One thing I want to add on this one is she should isolate herself while she is feeling sick, especially at home. I'm not sure this patient was tested, but if she has exposed to a person who was tested positive and she's having symptoms, it's believed that she might be also positive. So if she can isolate herself until she get better at home, that would be a good advice, because she had to prevent exposing other family members.
Thank you, doctor. What about if she gets worse than before?
Okay.
Can, even before getting tested, can she gets the medication, like hydroxychloroquine and Zithromax, even without having the being tested, because now she feels worse than before? Can we start her on something like this?
So currently what our protocol is, we treat this patient, we give this medication to patient who have moderate to severe illness. But even if they have mild symptoms and if they are at higher risk to develop severe illness, then we'll consider this medication. But one thing I wanted to emphasize is that these are medications, still investigational medications, and the studies are very small to really say that, oh, they are working. We have to see if they're really working. And these are still being investigated, but we're using them. And for me, I can tell you, I have started this treatment for some of the patient, but I cannot tell whether they're working or not. Still being investigated. I wish they work, and I wish to see that result, but it's too early to say that. But there are indications to start this medication. As I said again, people with severe illness, they will get it. No problem.
So الشخص اللي هو بعت السؤال ده كان اتعرض لحد عنده كورونا يعني، دكتور شيفراك بتقول أحسن حاجة إن الشخص ده برضو ما ينساش إن هو يعزل نفسه عن باقي الأفراد اللي في البيت، أساس يعني ما يتصابوش. وبعد كده أبونا سأل في أدوية طلعت اسمها بلاكوينيل أو هيدروكسيكلوروكوين، الناس اللي عندها الذئبة الحمراء أو أمراض مناعية بياخدوه مع الزيثروماكس. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني يعني هو بيسأل أبونا هل الشخص ده لو حاسس إن هو بيسوء أو حتى يعني في البدايات كده ينفع تستخدم الأدوية دي؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول لو الشخص ده عنده risk factor أو هو معرض إن مرض الكورونا اللي عنده يبقى من حاجة بسيطة لحاجة حادة نتيجة إن هو مثلا شخص كبير أو عنده مشاكل، ممكن وقتها حاجة نفكر فيها إحنا نستخدم الدوايين دول. بس هو الأبحاث الأبحاث نفسها الناس اللي شاركت فيها أعداد صغيرة جدا، فاحنا مش متأكدين لو هي بتشتغل. بس غير كده طبعا انتوا عندكم الدكاترة تاخدوا الاستشارات بتاعتهم لو الفكرة دي مناسبة لكم. وهي نفسها ابتدت تستخدم الأدوية دي في المستشفى بس للأعراض أو للناس اللي عندها الموضوع حاد جدا، مش كل الأشخاص. لا احنا مش متأكدين إن هي شغالة ولا لأ، بس يعني hopefully إن هي ممكن تقدر تساعد ناس يعني. Okay.
Thank you. I have another question, which is who are the most vulnerable people to death? The most common people not to survive.
That is also a good case. What we know so far is actually, as per CDC study recently, 80% of the diseases, 80, are among adults above 65 years old. This is also seen in the data here from our US data. And from Connecticut also, I can tell you, as of the latest data, we have 21 diseases, and out of that, 19 are older than 70. So people who are older, and especially if they have underlying comorbidities, they're more likely to die from this illness than others who are younger.
هو السؤال إن هو مين أكتر ناس معرضة للوفاة بعد الإصابة بفيروس الكورونا. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني بالنسبة للإحصائيات واللي احنا بنشوفه أكتر من 65 سنة معرضين. وبالنسبة للكونكتيكت مثلا 21 حالة وفاة، 19 منهم كانوا أكتر من 70 سنة، فدي أكتر نسبة يعني.
Thank you. Another question from a lady. She says that she has that pressure in her chest and also with some pain in her throat, but there is no any fever, but just the having that pressure or discomfort in the chest, no cough, but she's very worried. What do you think about this?
And again, as I said, the most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath. If the symptoms doesn't exist, probably this could be another disease. We always worry about when there is a chest pain and discomfort. It could be a number of things. One thing is could be from the heart. So I would advise that person to call their doctor and discuss, or even call on emergency base, because I don't want them to just see saying that it's not corona, but it could be something else like from the heart. But the most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath. At least in most of the people seen, they are less common, but at least these are the ones they have to watch.
حد بعت سؤال عندها وجع في صدرها، زي ضغط في صدرها، وجع في زورها بس مفيش حرارة، فتعمل إيه؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول معظم الحالات أو معظم الأعراض اللي بتظهر حرارة، كحة ناشفة، وضيق في التنفس. ف يعني بالنسبة لها مش هنقدر نقول بالظبط إن هي مش عندها كورونا، بس دكتور شيفرا تقترح بشدة إن الشخص ده يكلم دكتور، لأن بعد الشر مش عايزين أن يكون وجع في صدرها ده يكون ذبحة صدرية أو حاجة ليها علاقة بأمراض القلب. فهي بتقول للشخص ده يا ريت تكلم الدكتور. معظم اللي احنا عارفين إنه معظم الأعراض الثلاث حاجات اللي احنا قلناهم، بس يستحسن برضو إن الشخص ده يكلم الدكتور عشان بعد الشر ما يكونش حاجة تانية.
Thank you. I have here another question regarding ways of prevention. What about gurgling using vinegar with lemon and warm water, maybe a couple of times per day? Can this prevent the infection or prevent getting even worse, or maybe as a treatment in the beginning of the infection?
So gurgling with lemon and salt, this is the first time I'm hearing, and I haven't really found any studies or investigation that looked into it to suggest that. But there are anecdotal reports showing that using Listerine as a mouthwash to have an effect on the virus. These are the information that has been circulating over the media. But even that information is something that need to be investigated well and make sure is confirmed. And in addition, I want to just mention that there's a lot of informations which are not evidence-based. So we have to be careful when we get this information, whether there are studies or evidence behind that. So I'm happy to check on the salt and lemon information, but as from what I know, I haven't come across to anything that would suggest it would help.
في سؤال المضمضة أو الغرغرة بمية وملح أو مية وملح وليمون وخل لو ليها أي تأثير على الفيروس. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول إن هي ما سمعتش عن حاجة زي كده، أو في حاجات كتير ممكن تقترح بس مش شرط إن ليها إثبات علمي إن هي ممكن تفيد أي حد. قالت إن في حاجات كده بسيطة أو في اقتراحات اقترحت الليسترين اللي هو غرغرة بالليسترين، حاجة كده مطهرة ممكن تساعد أو إن هي ليها تأثير على الفيروس، بس again الإثبات مش قوي قوي، بس هي ممكن تشوف لنا وترد علينا بعد كده.
Thank you. I have another question regarding again ways to prevent the infection. What about going for shopping and getting the fruits, vegetables, and touching the carts? What should I do? Should I wash them?
Yes. That is also another good question. So what we have found from this virus, studying this virus, is that this virus could stay on the surface for up to 72 hours. That means up to 3 days. And also it could stay in the air up to 3 hours. So if you go to a grocery to buy, what I can advise is, be cautious and clean. If there's a sanitizer there, clean the hand for the cart. And once you go home, try to, those which can be washed, like fruits, other vegetables, if they can be washed, try to wash them. Make sure at least their surface is clean. And if you could wash your clothes, that would be great, because if you come to contact with a person who is sick or have coughed on you, then probably the virus could be there. And washing yourself, washing your clothes to be more on the cautious side would be a good approach, because I believe personally, as an infection doctor, there's a lot to learn about this virus, and we are learning new things every day. And a few months ago, we didn't know how long this virus is staying on the surface or on objects. We don't know how long it stays in the air. So at least from what information we have thus far, we have to clean and wash our clothes at least possible. And one thing I want to mention is about, which I'm always asked by people, is about what they do about delivery from Amazon or online deliveries. They come to your home, and how safe is that, to go ahead and open it. Again, the same logic applies. If the virus stays for 3 days, then you can leave the delivery maybe for 3 days, which I usually do, but to make sure, the virus is not there. But as I said in my presentation, this method of transmission believed to be not the most common. The most common is through droplet and with close contact through sick. But if you want to avoid the risk 100% of the time, I think you could use these cautions, try to wash or wipe everything out because the virus could stay longer.
كان في سؤال مهم لما حد مثلا يروح يعمل شوبينج وبيمسك عربية الشوبينج، فبتسأل يعني أعمل إيه لما أروح البيت، أو بيسأل الشخص ده أغسل هدومي أعمل إيه بالظبط عشان حماية. فبتقول إن هو يعني يستحسن طبعا لو عايز لما تروح تغسل هدومك تغسل الخضروات والفاكهة اللي انت شاريها أو الحاجات اللي انت جايبها كويس جدا. أساس هم لقوا إن الفيروس ده بيعيش على المسطحات لمدة 3 أيام وبيفضل في الجو لمدة 3 ساعات. سؤال تاني أو هي اقترحت برضو السؤال اللي هو لو اشتريتوا حاجات من على أمازون أو أي حاجة ديليفري إيه أحسن حاجة تعملوها. فلو عايز تسيب الديليفري دي بره مثلا لمدة 3 أيام لغاية ما الفيروس يروح خالص، بس أهم حاجة طبعا اللي هو تغسل إيديك وتحمي نفسك على قد ما تقدر. وفي نفس الوقت دي مش أكتر وسيلة اللي انت تاخد بيها المرض، موضوع لمس المسطحات او كده، هي اكتر حاجة ان انت تكون قريب من شخص مريض او تتعرض لرذاذ من اي حد، بس نفس الوقت انت بتحاول تحمي نفسك 100%.
Thank you. Another question here is wearing masks could help me to protect me from infection?
That's also very interesting and very important question. So what the Center for Disease Control recommending is you wear a mask, first of all, if you're sick, because you will be coughing, you'll be sneezing, and you don't want the virus to be in the air or go to the person next to you. So if you're feeling sick, you're coughing, sneezing, you have to wear a mask. But the other indication is also you can wear a mask even if you're not sick, but you're taking care of a person who's sick. And that person, especially if they cannot wear a mask and you are the one who's giving them care, you don't want to be infected. So you wear a mask. These are the two scenarios that is recommended. But we always ask a question when we see people walking, when they wear a mask, when you go to the groceries, they are wearing a mask. There is no clear evidence that shows that just wearing a mask, whether you're, even if you don't have a symptom in the public area, would prevent infection. There's no evidence. But at least in that two scenarios I told you, it could be protective.
كان في سؤال مهم ان احنا نلبس ماسكات واحنا في اي حتة ماشيين في الشارع او في اي حاجة. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول ما فيش استناد علمي ان موضوع الماسكات ده ممكن يحميك لو انت ماشي في البابليك كده. انت ممكن تلبس ماسك في حالتين بس، لو انت نفسك تعبان عشان ما تنقلش الرذاذ بتاعك لأي حد، او الحالة التانية ان انت بتهتم بشخص عنده الكورونا فيروس او عنده اعراض تنفسية والشخص ده مش قادر يلبس ماسك، فانت بتحمي نفسك وانت بتهتم بالشخص ده. بس فكرة ان انت تلبس ماسك كده على الفاضي ملهاش اي مستند علمي او استناد علمي.
Thank you. Another question. Can I continue practicing my sports of outside running, like go outside to do runs? And is that okay?
That's also a good question. At least, as I said before, if the two methods of transmission, the main methods, if you could avoid when you run, that means, for example, if you're running in your vicinity or in your backyard, and you can stay away from people who are sick, that means 6 feet away, or a person who could cough, I think that is doable. But I don't want to say that, oh, you can go ahead and, run. Then if you run into a person who's sick, then you will still put yourself at risk, right? So that is a very difficult question to answer. But what we have learned at this point is At least if you can stay away from sick people, that means stay home. The maximum you can would be a great approach or recommendation for you at this time. We are in the midst of pandemic, and we are seeing a lot of patients sick, and we don't know where next week or week after is. The numbers are continuing to increase daily. So my personal advice would be, if you can avoid running at this time where there's a lot of uncertainty, I think you should do it. But if you have to run, that is must, then be cautious. Try to stay away from people as much as possible.
في حد بيسأل إن هو بيمارس رياضة الجري فينفع يطلع يجري، خصوصا إن هو لو بعيد عن الأشخاص أو هي بعيدة عن الأشخاص. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول زي ما احنا قلنا أحسن حاجة اللي أنت تتجنب تكون قريب من أي حد، احتياطي لو حد تعبان، لو ينفع تجري في الباك يارد عندك في البيت، أو يعني قريب جدا من البيت بعيد عن الناس. هو طبعا ممكن لو تجري بعيد يعني 2 متر عن الاشخاص، بس احتياطي برضو حد مشي جنبك او جري جنبك وعطس، او الفيروس كان في الجو زي ما بيقول ممكن يقعد 3 ساعات، ف يستحسن بلاش للوقاية او حماية للشخص ده يعني.
Thank you. Another question. Do we know at what temperature does this virus die? Also, doesn't ultraviolet light kills all viruses? So if it is in the air and it is sunny, doesn't the ultraviolet light of the sun kill it? That's interesting question.
That is a good question. I don't have a lot of information. Maybe the immunologist in the meeting could help me in this case. But what I know is UV lights are being used in different universities. I know University of Nebraska, Yale University is using it to kill the virus on the mask. So I know it's being studied, and it will definitely be a promising, but we'll have to know more. And I know the virus cannot exist in a higher temperature. But the exact temperature, I don't want to give a wrong information. I don't know if the virologist or immunologist could know that information, can help me with that, or is something that I can look up and tell the audience or send the information after this.
السؤال بيقول أنه درجة حرارة ممكن تموت الفيروس، والأشعة الفوق بنفسجية بتقتل معظم الفيروسات. فلو إحنا مثلا الفيروس في الجو والدنيا فيها شمس، هل بيموت automatically؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول في جامعة نبراسكا وييل بيضيفوا الماسكات بتاعتهم عن طريق الأشعة الفوقية عشان تقتل أي فيروسات. بس بالنسبة لدرجة الحرارة هي مش متأكدة، بس ممكن توفر لنا المعلومة بعد كده.
We have with us Dr. Veronica Azmi-Miwad. She's specialized in immunology, allergy, and she may answer that question. Can you answer this question, please, Veronica?
So there are studies ongoing and there is research, but we are talking, I think, a much higher degree of UV light, and we don't have enough evidence. We don't have data to know what temperature and exactly how much UV light is needed. So we can't make any, recommendations based on what we know.
So Dr. Veronica بتقول يعني في أبحاث بس لسه شغالة، مش عارفين درجة الأشعة الفوق بنفسجية محتاجين قد إيه كحدة، أو إيه درجة الحرارة اللي ممكن تقتل الفيروس، فإحنا مش متأكدين لسه، بس في أبحاث شغالة على الموضوع ده.
Thank you. Another question. How long is the period of the quarantine? The total period. Thank you.
Okay. That's good question. If the question is actually after being exposed to a person who's sick or who has a virus, then we expect people to get sick from day 2 to day 14. So 14 days is the maximum, at least at this point, to see if they would develop symptoms. So let's say today, the day that person is exposed, then they have to quarantine themselves for up to next week, this 2 weeks from today. And by then, if they don't develop any symptoms, it is safe to say they might not have the infection. So 2 weeks is the maximum.
السؤال بالنسبة للعزلة لمدة قد إيه؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول لو اتعرضت مثلا لحد مصاب النهاردة ممكن يظهر لك الأعراض ما بين يومين لأسبوعين، فأحسن حاجة اللي أنت بعد ما تتعرض لشخص اعزل نفسك لمدة أسبوعين، لو ما حصلش أي أعراض يبقى أنت ما حصلكش الإصابة. فهي بتعمل كده.
Thank you. Another question. How long is the lockdown period in the state of Connecticut? Like your expectation? Thank you.
I don't have data regarding this, but what I can tell from clinician point of view, we are seeing new cases every day, and the numbers continue to increase. Unless we see some hopeful trend that the number is coming down, it might be difficult to decide on the lockdown. I mean, this is decision made by the governor and the government body. But at least as a clinician, what I can say is the numbers are increasing every day. So in that scenario, it's really too difficult to decide to say the exact date when the lockdown would be stopped or prolonged.
السؤال امتى، يعني لغاية امتى كونتيكت يعني قافلين الدنيا كده؟ فقالت بالنسبة لتخصصها هي لسه بتشوف حالات وعدد الحالات بتتزايد في المستشفى، فلما لغاية ما نبتدي نشوف الحالات بتقل ممكن وقتها العزلة دي أو الحظر يخف شوية، بس دلوقتي لسه للأسف بنشوف الحالات بتتزايد في المستشفى.
Thank you. Another question. If my mom is infected with coronavirus and I am serving her at home, what kind of precaution should I take? Thank you.
Okay, so I think the question might be two here. A person who is sick at home and they're quarantined to stay at home. In that case, the person who's taking care of that person, the sick person, would have to do a general precaution. That means they have to wash their hand, and if possible, use a different restroom or toilet. And also wear a mask. If the sick person cannot wear a mask, then you have to wear a mask, and clean the surfaces, especially if there is a common surface area. It has to be cleaned by soap of water or even sanitizers. There's also a bleach you could use. Just clean the common area to make sure the virus is not there, and assign one room for sick person until they get better. The other part of it would be for a person who's exposed, but they are quarantined, right? That means they don't have symptom. You will do the same thing. The only thing would be they won't have symptom. They're waiting in their room and watching their symptoms. So you do the same precaution, cleaning the surface that's in common and using a different restroom if possible, and not sharing any utensils. Okay.
السؤال لو ماما مصابة بالمرض الكورونا وأنا بهتم بيها، ازاي المواضيع تمشي في البيت يعني. دكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني هي قالت حاجتين، لو ماما مصابة already أو حد اتعرض لشخص مصاب بس لسه ما ظهرتش عليه أعراض، بس الموضوع نفس الحاجة بالنسبة للاتنين. الشخص ده بيقعد في أوضة، طبعًا نفس الأوضة، ما بيغيّرش ما بين الأوض. يستحسن الشخص اللي بيهتم يعني السيدة اللي بتهتم بمامتها ما تستخدمش نفس الحمام، تلبس ماسك لو ماما ما ينفعش تلبس ماسك، طبعًا تغسل إيديها على طول أو بالكحول زي ما قُلنا، أو تنضّف المسطحات اللي ماما بتلمسها على طول برضه بالكحول أو مَيّة وصابون للأحسن حماية.
Thank you. I have a question here. Are there any cases where people have showed symptoms after 14 days?
To my knowledge, I don't know this, but from what we know so far, these are most of the information where we are learning and studying and realizing is from studies that are done in Europe, from the studies that are done in China, because it's new to the US, very new. The 14-day is the most noticed to develop the symptoms. But I can share my experience with the patients I've seen. Usually they have the symptom initiated in the first week of their exposure, and that are also the study that shows usually the first 5 to 7 days they develop the symptom, but it could go up to 14 days. And to my knowledge, I don't know anything beyond that.
السؤال: هل الأعراض ممكن تظهر بعد 14 يوم؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني من خبرتها ومن الأبحاث اللي حصلت في الصين أو في البلاد الأوروبية اللي هو يعني تعرضوا للمرض فيروس كورونا قبلينا، بس الموضوع لسه جديد لأمريكا، لقوا إن أكثر حاجة أسبوعين أو 14 يوم. usually الأعراض بتظهر يعني 5 ل7 أيام، وده اللي بتشوفه دايمًا. بإذن معرفتها واللي إحنا عارفينه غالبًا صعب بعد ال14 يوم، بس كان أي حاجة ممكن تحصل، بس ده الcommon، ده المتعارف عليه.
Thank you. I have a question here. Going back to the question of shopping and buying vegetables and the fruits. Should I wash all the vegetables and the fruits upon buying them? Does the virus stay at the surface of the vegetables and the fruits? Thank you.
As we know, the virus could stay on the surface. So if this, vegetables or peelable fruits, if there's a virus on the surface, it would be recommended to wash what we eat, especially the vegetables and these fruits. It is, I think, an extra precaution to take. These are not the commonest method of transmission. There is reported that people could get it from the surface. That's why we have to take that precaution. Although it's not the commonest, I personally advise you to wash fruits or vegetables you're buying before you eat it. And taking that extra precaution is really important, especially at this time where we're in the midst of the pandemic.
السؤال: لما أجي أشتري خضار أو فاكهة ممكن الفيروس يبقى عليه، فدكتور شيفرا بتقول الفيروس ممكن يبقى على أي مسطح زي ما احنا عارفين. فطبعا يستحسن إحنا نغسل حاجات كويس جدا بالمية والصابون، ونعمل احتياطاتنا كاملة بما إن ده وباء عالمي.
Thank you. I have a question here. There have been reports that there may have been a different strand of this virus has developed. Is this correct? Also, it is reported that pets cannot transmit the virus, but wasn't it originally transmitted by an animal? Thank you.
Okay, those are also interesting questions. As we are learning more about this virus, we'll get more information out, hopefully with more studies coming out. With the new strain virus question, I can tell you that there is no new information or evidence that is reported, at least from what I have read, from I've known. But obviously, we worry about when a virus change or mutate or develop a new strain, then it become, very bad and affect or infect a lot of people. To my knowledge, I don't have that information at this point, but probably this is something we're gonna learn or hear soon with more study. To the next question about pets, at least the information that we have is it could be affecting or it could be seen in pets like dogs or other animals, but there is no clear evidence that they can transmit it to a human. And on the question, they are right. The person asking, they are right. It came from an animal market, but it's not clear, really how that is transmitted. And such viruses in the past are also showed they come from animal, go to the human in rare scenarios, and it causes an outbreak and a pandemic. Since there's a lot we don't know about this virus, it's difficult to say this virus not transmitting from the animal to a human, but at least there's no clear evidence at this point.
السؤال: هل في حاجة طلعت من فصيلة الكورونا فيروس حاجة شبهها برضو؟ وتاني حاجة: هل الحيوانات الأليفة ممكن تصاب بالمرض أو تنقل لنا المرض؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول على حسب معلوماتها دلوقتي ما فيش حاجة طلعت من الكورونا وشبه الكورونا بنفس العيلة، ولو حصل حاجة زي كده usually الموضوع بيبقى أخطر لو الفيروس نفسه تحول لحاجة أكثر أكثر أذية يعني. بس لغاية دلوقتي ما فيش معلومات عن حاجة زي كده. موضوع الكلاب أو الحيوانات الأليفة لقوا إن في منها فعلا بيصاب مرض الكورونا، بس احنا أصلا مش متأكدين من موضوع اللي هو الحيوان للإنسان في الأسواق بتاعت تشاينا زي الموضوع ده حصل، مع إن احنا لسه بنستكشف حاجات جديدة عن الفيروس الكورونا ده، فالمعلومات مش أكيدة شوية.
Thank you. Back to the question of washing the vegetables and the fruits. Should I do it by water only or soap and water?
I would advise soap and water.
Another question. If I was infected by coronavirus, am I immune to the coronavirus for life? Thank you.
That's a good question again. This is being studied. This is new to us. To be honest, this is a virus which is since December. So we're talking about 3 months. So to answer that question would be difficult. But from my discussions from a very known immunologist here in Connecticut or in the nation, it is believed that once a person have developed this infection, they will develop immunity to it and it's less likely to get it again. This is, the typical characteristics of any virus. So this is a belief, but we have to prove it with science, and probably we'll know more in the coming few months.
السؤال: هل لو أصبت بكورونا ممكن أصاب بيه تاني؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول من خبرتها وكلامها مع أخصائيين مناعة usually أو اللي احنا شايفينه إن لما حد بيصاب مرض الكورونا مناعته بتقوى إن هو ما يجلوش تاني، بس الفيروس الكورونا لسه طالع بقاله 3 شهور، فاحنا كل مدى بنكتشف عنه حاجات جديدة.
Hey, Dr. Shifrau, I know my Egyptian people. We can continue asking you for days here. Are we holding you?
It's the same culture I have, so don't worry. I'm happy to help or clarify things. No problem.
Thank you. I have another question regarding the temperature of the room that I sleep in. Should I make the room warmer than usual, so uh, just to prevent the attack of the virus or prevent the infection? Thank you.
Yeah. Again, yeah, we don't have a lot of information what temperature would kill this virus. At this point, at least, you shouldn't do anything because there's no evidence-based recommendation to give. Whatever you're using, continue to use for your room temperature. My hope is we will learn more about this virus, and we'll get more informations and more evidence-based recommendation will be coming soon, in the months ahead.
السؤال هل ندفي جو الأوضة على أساس الفيروس ما يتكثرش؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول ما فيش استناد علمي إن ده ممكن يأثر على الفيروس بأي طريقة، فخلي حرارة الأوضة عادية جدا، وكل مدى هنعرف حاجات عن الفيروس أكتر وهنقدر نرد على أسئلتكم أكتر.
Thank you. Another question. Is loss of sense of smell or taste a symptom that you have been seeing with COVID patients? What precautions should we take for that? And another question. Do we know why more men than women are dying from COVID disease?
Okay. Very interesting questions. For the first question, there are cases or people who reported that they have a loss of taste. We don't know how many of them would have this, but there are people who reported that. From my experience, from the little cases I've seen, I don't have that report. But this is something probably we'll have to look in detail and see how many people this symptom have, how many people have these symptoms. To the next question. Oh, sorry, I forgot. What was the second question?
Why more men than women are dying?
This is still being studied, but from what they found is that they're thinking male are most likely to smoke and most likely to drink alcohol and most likely to have a poor health compared to women. This is what they have found, but I think these are just prelim finding. As we get more information, I think we'll know more.
I thought that it is a racist virus.
I'm not sure about that. And that's funny.
السؤال ليه الرجال بيموتوا أكتر من السيدات من مرض الكورونا؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول يعني الحاجات المبدئية إن هما بيدخنوا أكتر وبيشربوا كحول أو حالتهم الصحية بتبقى أضعف من السيدات. وأول سؤال معلش يا بونا ممكن تفكرني؟
The loss of sense of smell or taste as a symptom.
هل ممكن من أعراض الكورونا فقدان حاسة التذوق أو حاسة الشم؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول إن هي قابلت حالات فقدوا حاسة التذوق، فممكن، بس أجان كل ما نشوف حالات أكتر كل ما هنعرف إيه الحاجات اللي ممكن تظهر كأعراض أكتر.
Thank you. What about the vulnerability of the diabetics to the coronavirus disease? Thank you.
Good question. So one of the risk factors to develop severe illness or that would require you to be hospitalized is being diabetes. And especially if it is uncontrolled, you are more likely to develop the severe form of the disease and or end up being hospitalized.
بالنسبة لمرضى السكر مقارنة بالمرضى اللي ما عندهمش سكر، يعني لما يصاب مرضى كورونا ايه اعراضهم او ايه اللي بيحصل لهم. فدكتور شيفرا بتقول زي ما احنا قلنا هم معرضين ان هم يحصل لهم المرض بصوره حاده، واكثر عرضه ان هم يروحوا المستشفى، خصوصا لما السكر بتاعهم بيكونش متظبط او كنترولد، يعني الارقام بتاعتهم عاليه.
I have a question about the possibility of having the virus without any symptoms. In other words, is there a risk of being completely asymptomatic and transmitting the virus to family members that may be immunocompromised?
Very good question again. Yes, there is a possibility that people could be asymptomatic and continue to shed the virus. There aren't enough study to prove that. What I know here in the United States, I don't know if everyone can remember the cruise ship. One time they were stranded because there were positive cases, right? In that scenario, what they looked at that they checked around 600 people and they were positive, and half of them didn't have symptoms. So at least that is one evidence we know people could be asymptomatic, but this is just one study. We will need to know more numbers, or we need to have more numbers, or we need to have more study whether how much people could be asymptomatic. Although we don't have the number, but people definitely could be asymptomatic and would be a potential risk for exposing others.
السؤال، لو أنا ما عنديش أعراض خالص بس مصاب بالكورونا، وفي نفس الوقت ممكن أخلي الناس اللي حواليا زي أسرتي مثلا، خصوصا لو عندهم أمراض أو كده يتصابوا، هل ده ممكن فعلا أكون مصاب بس ما يكونش عندي أعراض؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول ممكن. ومثال على كده رحلة الكروز كان عليها 600 شخص وأكتر من كده، كلهم كانوا مصابين بالكورونا، بس 50% منهم ما كانش عندهم أي أعراض. الدراسة اللي بينت الموضوع ده كان هي دراسة واحدة بس يعني كل ما يظهر معلومات أو حالات أكتر هنتعرف. بس طبعا ممكن تكون مصاب بالكورونا بس ما يبانش عليك أي أعراض، وفي نفس الوقت ممكن تصيب غيرك.
Thank you. We heard that people who received the MMR vaccine are immune to SARS. Is it applicable to COVID-19? Thank you.
I might leave this question also to the immunologist, virologist, but my understanding is this virus is new to all of us, and that's why it has a potential to be pandemic. That means the potential to affect this large number of population because we're not immune to it. At least that's what I know, and I don't know, the immunologist doctor can add on this one.
Hi, Veronica. Can you answer this question, please? Thank you.
So I don't actually know of any literature looking at immunity from people that were vaccinated with MMR, and I don't actually believe that to be true because everyone in our population should be vaccinated to MMR, yet everyone is being infected with COVID. So I think that is not correct.
السؤال، لو أنت أخدت تطعيم الحصبة الثلاثي اللي أنتوا عارفينه، هل ده حاجة تحميك من الكورونا فيروس، أو لقوا إن هي ممكن تحمي الأشخاص من سارس، حاجة كانت شبه كورونا فيروس في 2002 و2003، فهل ده ممكن يحمينا من الكورونا أو كوفيد 19؟ فدكتور شيفران، دكتور فيرونيكا قالوا يعني زي ما احنا شايفين هو يعني في ناس كتير بتتصاب، ومعظم الناس اللي في أمريكا أصلا اتطعموا، فما تهيأليش المعلومة دي صحيحة.
A follow-up question. How long should one stay away from family if they might have it but do not have symptoms? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer because if you are asymptomatic, you would know you have the symptom, right? Unless you are being tested and you are told positive, then clearly you have the virus. But if you're asymptomatic, that's the challenge. You don't have symptoms and you won't be tested and we'll know you have infection. I think that is difficult. And I think because of this asymptomatic people, that we are advising people to stay at home, because you can go out, people could be symptomatic, you wouldn't know, but you could acquire the virus being in close proximity with them. So staying at home, avoiding yourself and being in contact with people could help you also from people who could be asymptomatic. And as I said, we don't know how many of them would be. Hopefully we'll have more information on that.
السؤال لو أنا ما عنديش أعراض أقعد قد إيه في عزلة؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول لو أنت ما عندكش أعراض أو ما حللتش ولو عندك كورونا أنت عارف إزاي إن أنت عندك كورونا، غير اللي أنت لو حليت، مع إن الموضوع صعب لو ما عندكش أعراض ولو عندك كورونا. فعشان كده يستحسن إن إحنا نقعد في البيت، نبعد عن الأشخاص اللي ممكن عندهم الفيروس بس ما عندهمش أعراض، فتحمي نفسك وتحمي غيرك منك برضو لو أنت عندك الكورونا بس ما فيش أعراض.
Thank you. Can they use the plasma of the recovered people to treat infected people? Thank you.
That is being studied, and I don't have information to say this would work, but the idea is that people who have this infection, they develop immunity, and hopefully that immunity would help the other people. But that is being looked at. We don't know whether it works or not, but that's a good point.
هل البلازما بتاعت الأشخاص اللي هم اتصابوا وتحسنوا بعد إصابتهم بمرض كورونا ممكن ينفع غيرهم كحماية؟ فدكتور شيفرا بتقول إن ده فعلا بيدرس right now أو بيبحثوا فيه لو ينفع. فيعني ربنا يسهل كده ونوصل لأي حاجة ممكن تساعد يعني.
We are very sorry, Dr. Shivrao, to keep you that late with us and from the family, but God bless you.
Okay, that's fine.
We are sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm happy really to be here, and I'm happy if anything I say could be helpful. So don't worry about it.
This is the last question. Can I use antibacterial soap to wash the vegetables and the fruits? Oh, it is antibacterial. Should be antiviral.
Viral, right? Okay. He answered the question. I mean, obviously cleaning what you eat, either as fruit or vegetable, it would help you not only prevent virus but also bacteria, right? We've heard E. coli outbreaks, we heard listeria. These are bacteria. So I believe it would help, not the virus, but if there is a bacteria there, it could help.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shifrao, for this wonderful session. All the questions from everybody regarding, I think we covered most of the questions we have in our mind, and God bless you, and may the Lord bless your family, and we love to have you again with us in other sessions and more questions, and may the Lord protect you to be safe in your
you too stay safe. It's a pleasure to be here. Have a good night.
I would like to thank also Tasoni Dr. Germain for arranging and bringing Dr. Shifrao for us tonight.
نعمة ربنا. Thank you.
Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Shifra. She's a great example, I have to say, at St. Mary's Hospital, helping everyone, answering all the questions, and we pray that God protect her and her family. She has a beautiful girl named Abigail. How old is she, Bethel?
Just turned 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, have a good night. Okay.
Bye.
نشكر ربنا على اللقاء الجميل ده، ومعانا احنا أخصائيين في مجالات تانية. And we have other specialty with us. So if you have any question to them or they may add something, معنا دكتورة فيرونيكا أزمي ميواد allergy وimmunology، وسمعنا جاوبتنا على كم سؤال. And we have Dr. Sherry Mansour nephrology kidney. ومعانا طبعا يعني دكتورة جيرمين يعني كتر خيرها على ترتيب اللقاء ده. وطبعا معانا أبونا دكتور بشوي صليب و internist internal medicine، يعني he still has his license. ومعنا دكتور ريمون شنودة سايكاتريست من ييل، علشان لو حد يحب يسأل على حاجة ريليتد لحاجات زي كده.
دكتور شيري منصور معانا ولا؟
دكتور شيري منصور مش عارف هي لسه موجودة ولا مشيت. احتمال تكون يعني سابت الجروب دلوقتي.
دكتور جورج عبد السيد.
ودكتور جورج عبد السيد GI gastroenterologist. خاصة انه دلوقتي بنسمع انه كورونا او كوفيد ديزيز بيجي ممكن بحاجات او اعراض في القناة الهضمية زي اسهال او غيره. دي حاجات جديدة، فمعنا دكتور جورج عبد السيد برضو. وندي فرصة لأي حد من الإخوة الدكاترة إن هو يحب يضيف شيء، أو لو حضراتكم عندكم أسئلة برضو تسألوهم. ويعني ربنا يبارك، وربنا كده يحفظ شعبه ويحفظكم كلكم ويزيل عننا هذا الوباء. طب اتفضلوا اللي عنده حاجة من الدكاترة اتفضل.
سابونا دكتور جورج عبد السيد. أولا this was a very very good session. بس أنا كنت عندي شوية ملحوظات كده كنت عايز I wanted to cover them. بالنسبة للجهاز الهضمي there are reports and hospitals are seeing gastrointestinal symptoms of the virus without respiratory symptoms. It's been happening, and in some reports they precede the respiratory symptoms like the shortness of breath, and other times there may not even be any respiratory symptoms. One of the clues that this may be COVID-19 is if the gastrointestinal symptoms, and the symptoms are usually loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, but one of the clues is going to be that وظائف الكبد also will be affected. So there's a slight increase in the enzymes of the liver. So أنا ممكن أترجم يعني if you want إن بنشوف حالات ناس بيصابوا بالكوفيد 19 ما عندهمش أي أعراض تنفسية خالص، وحتى في بعض منهم ما عندهمش درجة حرارة. بيجي لهم الشهية بتروح، بيجي لهم قيء، ما عندهمش نفس ياكلوا، او بيجي لهم اسهال. بس حاجه من الحاجات اللي بتبقى علم احمر اذا وظائف الكبد برضو are affected. دي طبعا محتاجه test of the blood. فدي حاجه important that I wanted to say. There's just a few other things. انا هاخد بس 3 more minutes if I can. Tonight Dr. Shifra was asked a question regarding other symptoms. Right now, what I worry about and what all of us worry about is that anytime somebody has a symptom, boom, they think they have COVID-19. So I want to remind people that other diseases are not on vacation right now. Okay? Heart attacks are not on vacation. Asthma is not on vacation. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is not on vacation. Okay? They are still at work. So if a person has chest tightness and difficulty breathing, that patient may be having a heart attack, and that person should not keep thinking about COVID-19. They should definitely call their doctor, and they should come in and be tested and treated. Having said that, if you have symptoms and they're fairly mild, fever, shortness of breath, shaking chills, discomfort in the chest, the first thing you should not do is to go to a hospital. Right today, there's an article, Brooklyn Hospital. Are you ready for this? 800 cases. They reach 800 cases. مش عارفين يودوهم فين. So the last thing you want انك انت لما يجي لك اعراض حتى لو انت عملت تيست مش هتغير اي حاجه، لان most of the time 80% من الناس اللي عندهم symptoms بنقول لهم اقعد في البيت. Take care of yourself, drink plenty of liquids, and relax. And don't go to the hospital because the testing is not going to affect anything. And of course, the only thing that would be an additional is if the symptoms are fairly typical, لو الأعراض بتاعتك تبين إنك أنت عندك المرض، على الأقل أعزل نفسك لمدة 14 يوم زي ما بيتقال. والحاجة الثانية اللي ريمون أكيد هيتكلم فيها وأرجو إن هو يعمل بعض التعليقات، إن دلوقتي الهستيريا والانكزايتي is at its highest. So بيجي لنا حالات في المستشفى GAD, generalized anxiety disorders on steroids, as we call it. Okay, now they are really, really nervous because any dryness in their throat, any shortness of breath. Remember that shortness of breath, hyperventilation, all of these things can be symptoms of an acute anxiety attack, and we have to make sure that we don't overtax the system, you know, and people have to just kind of take it easy.
I agree. There's a lot of anxiety about the disease. I just want to emphasize 80% of people who get the disease are asymptomatic. ما عندهمش حاجة خالص. The problem وعشان احنا خايفين من ايه؟ خايفين ان الناس ديت بتنقل their vectors موصلين العدوى للناس اللي بيجي لها المرض. المشكلة كمان زي ما الدكتور جورج بيقول بقية الأمراض مش في أجازة، حتى الإنفلونزا والكومن كولد اللي هو حتى مش إنفلونزا. يعني احنا دايما عندنا في مصر لما حد يقول لك عنده دور برد أو دور إنفلونزا، هو they are two different things يعني. ف there's a lot of anxiety about symptoms. احنا لما كنا في كليه الطب كان في حاجه اسمها الميديكال ستودنت سيندروم. كل ما تذاكر حاجه كل ما تذاكر اعراض الجهاز الهضمي يبتدي يجي لك مغص. تذاكر فاكر يا دكتور جورج الايام دي؟
طبعا of course.
تذاكر اعراض. فدلوقتي كل البلد بتذاكر اعراض الكوفيد. فكله خايف جدا. احنا actually بنشوف عيانين مش anxiety، بنشوف عيانين that are psychotic. يعني they are COVID negative, they are tested and they don't believe it, and we are dealing with them in the hospital to the point that they need psychiatric admission. يعني بعيد عنكم يعني. بس حتى الجنراليزد anxiety دلوقتي بتاعت الموضوع ده أهم حاجة فعلا إن ما تروحش للدكتور. يعني it defeats my job وهتعيش لينا بس ما تروح. يعني احنا فعلا انت الخطر ان احنا نشوف عيانين بنعمل عدوى رهيبة جدا. احنا يعني دلوقتي حتى كل الحاجات الالكتيف اللي هي معرفش جيرمين ساعديني، الكتيف اللي هو يعني مش ضرورية، اختيارية. شكرا. وقفناها. العمليات الاختيارية، العمليات اللي ما هياش ضرورة، لا اقعد في البيت. فتخيل بقى ان يعني ناس، وعمليات مهمة برضو يعني ده في علاج كيماوي، الناس قلنا لهم لا اقعدوا في البيت دلوقتي علشان العدوى. فأكتر حاجة لازم الناس تفكر فيها ان معظم الناس نمبر 1 نقط كده عشان نقولها، معظم الناس بيجي لها الفيروس ده ولا اعراض اطلاقا. 80% و15% من ال 20% التانيين هم اللي بيجي لهم اعراض، ومن ال 15 وبعدين 15% اللي بيجي لهم اعراض دول لما يعرفوا ان هم عندهم كوفيد، طيب انا عرفت ان انا عندي فيروس، طب عملت ايه بان انا عرفت؟ ولا حاجه، ولا حاجه. مفيش دواء. اصل انا لو يعني احنا دايما حتى في المستشفيات يقول لك ايه مثلا لو تعمل اشعه، طب انا لو عملت الاشعه والاشعه دي مش هتفرق في العلاج، يبقى عرضت العيان ده لحاجه، لاشعه، لخطر او حاجه مش كويسه. من غير لو عملت دلوقتي لكل الناس، يعني لو جبت الكنيسه كلها عندنا وقلت لهم بصوا انا مهرب شويه كوفيد تيستنج من اي حته واي ويل تيست everybody، هيطلع ارقام كبيره، بس معظمها ما عندهاش اي symptoms خالص nothing. وبعدين حتى الناس اللي عرفت يعني وبعدين ولا حاجه. طب هتديني ايه بقى علشان التيست اللي انت طلعته لي بوزيتيف ده؟ ولا حاجه. هقول لك نفس الكلام، لو سخنه هتاخد شويه تايلانول. اهم حاجه الاهميه القصوى في ان احنا بنحاول نعرف قد ايه ناس عندها، علشان epidemiology، علشان اشوف مين اللي كانوا مع الناس دي واشوف عدو مين. يعني اخطر حاجه ممكن تحصل لواحد جاله المرض ده مش ليه هو، ان هو يعني حد يكون تعبان، يكون عجوز، يكون صحته مش كويسه او عنده امراض تانية comorbidities، اللي هي امراض تانية مع المرض ده، هي اللي بتخلي المرض دوت يوصل ناس ان هم يضطروا يدخلوا المستشفى، او يوصل ناس تحتاج لفنتيليتورز اللي هي اجهزه التنفس الصناعي. فاهم حاجه نعرفها ان احنا مش محتاجين، يعني مش كل الناس محتاجه تعرف كان عندها ولا لا. في اعراض كتيره جدا مشابهه، اعراض جاسترو، اعراض اسهال وقيء، واعراض اللي هي الجهاز الهضمي، اعراض الجهاز التنفسي. طب ما احنا في السبرينج، احنا في الرجيز، واحنا ده الموسم كده كده بتاع البرد والكومن والكحه والحاجات دي. فانا اهم حاجه، بس اهم حاجه ان احنا ناخد موضوع غسيل الايدين، موضوع السانيتايزيشن، موضوع ان احنا ننظف السيرفيسز بانتي فايرال وانتي ميكروبيال، اللي هي الحاجات اللي بنستعملها على طول، الكحول، البليتش، الكلور، ميه وكلور. بس المهم مش ان انا يعني يعني احط نص ازازه الكلور على، المهم ان انا اعملها كذا مره. المهم ان انا لما اعطس اكح في كوعي، ما اكحش في ايديا، وبعدين اسلم على الناس. والحاجات دي يعني I believe ان الابيديميك ده او الوباء ده هيخلي الناس for a long time و hopefully forever يخلوا بالهم قوي من الهيجين بتاعهم.
أبونا بشوي عنده تعليق مهم جدا، وأحب أبونا بشوي يباركنا ويصرفنا ويصلي بينا بعد التعليق بتاعه. اتفضل يا أبونا.
أبونا I just wanted to add حاجة بصراحة يا أبونا. I just wanted to say I hope كلنا فهمنا ليه الكنيسة خدت قرار اللي احنا يعني to close the church for now يعني. and I hope برضو كلنا فهمنا ليه يعني we can't do drive-through communion and ما نقدرش ليه يعني الكنيسة يعني was so concerned about the safety of each one of you, and that's why الكنيسة قالت احنا معلش احنا نوقف الخدمات دلوقتي ونشكر ربنا عندنا خدمات اونلاين. يعني I hope after today كلنا يعني متعاطفين مع الكنيسة، عشان عارف في ناس كتير كانوا زعلانين قوي متأثرين جدا اللي الكنيسة قفلت وازاي وحاجات كده بس that was my comment.
شكرا يا أبونا بشوي. واتفضل قدسك صلي لنا وننصرف بسلام، وربنا معاكم جميعا. سلام.